The newspapers are full of the stolen Rembrandt story. There are also many pictures of yourself. How would we like our coffee, sir? Oh dear me, I'm terribly sorry. This fourth generation Toyota Prius, much beloved of Uber drivers, hated for its controversial styling. Is it any good? Should you care? Why, let's find out, shall we? Toyota, hey!
Something big is happening among us. It's not as if we don't have to deal with our shortcomings. It's not as if we don't have to wipe away the tears. From time to time we wouldn't lie. And here we are, we'll never be the same. And on the screens of our lives flash words of good songs that we've not yet sung. We're not worried about the future and we're not guilty about the past.
So welcome to yet another episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. Today we are near Bolton and we're driving a 2018 Toyota Prius Business Edition Plus. This car has very kindly been lent to me by my friend Richard. So thanks Richard. Before we get into the detail about this lovely Prius, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. It really helps us to be able to put out these new Tweed Jacket reviews a bit faster than usual, and it helps us spread the word about the most fashionable attire in the world. The first generation Toyota Prius was launched all the way back in 1997, although it didn't come to Europe until a few years later. So it's really been around quite a long time. This is a fourth generation model, and these were launched in about February 2016 in the UK. The styling of this particular car is a bit more sort of controversial and unusual than previous generations. I haven't quite made my mind up whether I like it or not, but I think I like it better than the older models. It's a very comfortable car to drive actually, but it's the first thing you notice about it. Unlike a lot of cars these days, the suspension is not that firm, so it deals very well with urban potholes and speed bumps. Obviously, for the target market, for the drivers this car's aimed at, that is an absolute bonus. There's only one engine option available in the Prius. That is a 1.8 four-cylinder petrol engine combined with an electric motor. Together, the engine and the motor deliver 123 horsepower. 0 to 60 in this car's just over 10 seconds or so. It's not really a performance car, although you can tune these to deliver outrageous horsepower. The trim levels available in the fourth generation Prius, like this one, are Active, Business Edition Plus, like this one, and then Excel. Now, you have to go up to Excel to get standard front and rear parking sensors for some bizarre reason. So maybe that's worth looking at, although this car has the parking pack, which means it's got that and also an automatic parking feature, which I'm not going to try because it's a little bit of a pain to get used to. We've also got loads of safety features in this car. We've got blind spot monitoring, which works really well, lane keeping assist, lane departure warning, active cruise control, autonomous emergency braking. The list just goes on. It's very well equipped indeed. You don't get leather seats in this particular car, but I suppose being a sort of ecologically minded one, it's not the sort of thing you really want. The Prius has different driving modes. There's an EV mode, which we're in at the moment, that only works under 30 miles an hour. There's an eco mode, which is the standard mode for most driving, and then there's a power mode, which gives you a little bit of a boost. Now, because this is Tweed Jacket Reviews, we don't use the power mode. That's not the way these things go. But in EV mode, we had a nice little start there. It's like we had an extra bit of boost, and we're nicely away and going to our destination. In terms of the handling, I've not really noticed the car rolling very much. I should imagine the suspension's not that soft actually, although the riding is very compliant. The car does have, though, incredibly light steering, which I don't particularly like in any car. But I suppose it suits the nature of a car like this, which is very much designed for urban driving. The brakes, we've got regenerative braking here. You can adjust it to 3 different modes. I've got it on the soft setting at the moment. I don't want to disturb Mr. Franks. We I've been driving around Bolton today, and we've been getting 64 miles per gallon. I think that's pretty good. On the 15-inch tyres that this car has, the standard figures for the new European driving cycle, which is not used anymore, were around 94 miles per gallon, which I think is utterly ridiculous. You're probably going to get between 60 and 70 depending on how you drive and where you drive. Once you get used to this dreadful foot-operated parking brake, which confuses the heck out of me every time I use it, the car is very easy to drive. Every Prius is automatic, and one thing I was not looking forward to was the CVT gearbox in this car. But actually, it's not really much of a problem. If you drive moderately, and you use a bit of EV mode below 30 miles an hour, you don't really hear the transmission whining very much. Obviously, if you were a bit of a faster driver, say you drove like the people from Planet Auto do, then you probably notice a sort of whine in the gearbox. But you know, we're just going along, sort of not in a particular hurry today, and it's absolutely fine. It's quite quiet. I'm trying to get my eco score up as well, so you know, we're doing Tweed jacket review style driving, which is moderate. One of the things that we've noticed actually on our journey to our destination is the fact that the traffic sign recognition isn't working properly. And so it should tell me what the speed limit is at the moment, but it's so variable. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's not good for you holding on to your license. Overall, I think I'm quite impressed with the way this car drives. It's very comfortable, it's very smooth, the ride's not too firm, the transmission doesn't whine as much as I thought it would. I mean, the foot-operated parking brake is an absolute nightmare, but once you're used to that, it's pretty good. I'm very impressed.
Something big is happening among us. It's not as if we don't have to deal with our shortcomings. It's not as if we don't have to wipe away the tears. From time to time, we wouldn't lie.
I'd like to do a dramatic stop with the handbrake or something similar, but this car's actually got a foot-operated parking brake and a switch to engage park on the transmission, so I can't do that. Well, anyway, that was a nice, smooth and comfortable ride. I'm very impressed with this car actually in terms of the way it drives. It's very obvious to see that this is a car that drivers who use these as taxis could spend many hours behind the wheel and not get fatigued. Anyway, let's look at the practical side of this car and have a look in the boot. If you come round to the back of the car, you'll see that it's actually got a split rear window. It's a very good job this car's got a standard reversing camera, I must say. Anyway, if you open up the boot, it's nice and easy. There's about 470 litres of space in this particular car because we've got a space saver spare wheel underneath here. I have to pull all that up. Yeah, it's under there. It's very easy to load. The sill's nice and high, and if you fold down the rear seats, that's very easy as well. In terms of features inside the boot, there aren't really very many. There's no 12-volt socket, for example. There are these hooks which fold out, but the maximum load of them is supposed to be 4 kilograms, so I wouldn't trust my heavy snack shopping with that. We also have this load blind, like in an estate car, which is, I suppose, nice and easy. It's one solution to this problem of having otherwise an enormous parcel shelf, which would be a bit of a problem. It's actually quite comfortable in the back of here, although at 5'11", my head is almost brushing the roof, and that's due to the sloping nature of the design. My knees, though, have plenty of room, and this is sort of my driving position. I'm 5'11". We've also got an armrest in here, which is nice, and some cup holders. It's very easy to fold the seats. They just go down like this. One thing I don't like is these Isofix covers, which just come off and then you're going to lose them. One major oversight in the back of a Prius is that there aren't any USB charging ports. There is a 12-volt socket, but who wants to carry around a cigarette lighter adapter with themselves if they know they're going to be taken to Heathrow Airport? As many of you will know who are regular viewers, I've got two pet hates at the back of the car. One of them is the aforementioned Isofix covers, and the other one is hard plastic door tops. It's 2 out of 2 for the Prius. Oh dear. Right, let's now sit in the place where most of you won't be sitting, the front. The beeps and bongs in this car are quite annoying, but I've, had worse. Anyway, let's try a practicality test first of all. There are my secret mission documents. Let's see if they go into the glove box. Oh dear, that's not good. Whoops. Okay, so they don't fit in the glove box. How about just down here? That's all right. Oh, that's one good thing, I suppose. The dashboard of the Prius is actually a very busy place. We've got various readouts. This car even has a head-up display. Isn't that posh? We've got wireless charging point. We've got a massive armrest here. We've got cup holders. We've got USB charging points, aux charging points, 12-volt sockets, and all sorts of funny buttons here. It's an interesting place. The steering wheel adjusts for rake and reach. The seat is quite comfortable actually. I'm not surprised considering you will be spending a long time in here if you use a certain smartphone app. If we look as well at the visibility, forward's quite good. This car's got all-round parking sensors. This is the Business Edition Plus with a parking pack. We've also got automatic parking feature on this car, which I'm not going to demonstrate because apparently it takes a while to get used to. All Priuses come with a standard reversing camera, and my gosh, do you need that. If you look out of the mirror here, which actually bizarrely kind of blocks your forward view quite a lot, you'll see there's a bar right in the middle of the rear window. And if you're trying to reverse without using the camera, it is a little bit difficult. One of the things that I think I've already mentioned is that the Prius is a very well-equipped car. For example, on this Business Edition Plus, we have the satellite navigation, Bluetooth connectivity. We've got automatic wipers, automatic lights, blind spot monitoring. We've got lane keeping assist. We've got automatic cruise control. We've got lane departure warning. List just goes on. It's absolutely insane. I've also got regenerative braking control here for the regenerative brakes. We've got a funny handbrake here. It's not even a handbrake. And we've got heated seats, although the heated seat controls are in the worst possible place I've ever seen. Like, you can't even see them from here. In terms of build quality, there are soft touch materials in the front, like on the dashboard and on the door tops. There's a nice leatherette armrest here. The piano black's quite nice, although that probably scratches quite easily. The equipment list just sort of goes on. As I said, I've got power folding mirrors, dual zone climate control. I've got also in this particular car, there's a wireless phone charging pad. Richard said he got a very good deal on this car, and it's easy to see that actually this car, although the list price is around £30,000, could be considered quite a good value for money. This particular car has the head-up display, as I've said, and I don't really think it's necessary, to be honest. The information that's in this tiny little screen ahead of the driver is also on the main screen here. Now, this car does not have conventional dials, and no Prius one Prius I know has had conventional dials. So we've got the gear shift indicator here. We've got a little thing like a computer game that tells you how economically you're driving. We've got the fuel range, the speedometer. You'll find that this car is doing 64 miles per gallon, which is really good for a car that's driven in town quite a lot as well. The central screen actually has a CD player, which is unusual these days. The only thing that I really don't like about this car, in terms of the interior, is the fact that there's no Apple CarPlay and no Android Auto. Now, on a £10,000 Toyota Aygo, you can get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. But why you can't get that on a Prius that costs 3 times as much and is supposed to be futuristic and modern, I really don't know. In conclusion then, what do I think of the Toyota Prius? Well, this 4th generation model is much better looking than the previous ones were, albeit a bit controversial. It actually very surprised me in the way it drives. It's very smooth and comfortable and very economical. I even think it's quite a good value for money, all things taken into consideration. Oh, excuse me. I'm terribly sorry. If I'm right about all this, the man who's behind it will be waiting at the next station, and Taylor may need some help. Thank you for watching this episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. My name is Joseph Lloyd. I'm an independent vehicle consultant. I find cars for people. Please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to do that. Don't forget to like this video and to leave a comment below. If you wish me to source a car for you, I'd love to do that. My website is www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. Please use the Contact Me page on my website to get in touch. I've got a Facebook page as well. It's facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Thank you.
After quarter of a mile, turn left.
That's the first time I've been recognised in public, yeah? Well, there we go. You just happened to catch us filming outside your house.